I'm adjusting my pace. I'm adjusting my mindset. I'm adjusting my wellness. What it takes for me to stay well now. I wasn't doing all that I'm doing now that I was doing 20 years ago.
Yeah. Welcome to Sheila's Take, your go-to podcast for thoughtful insights on love, faith, health, fitness, relationships, and navigating today's challenges through a spiritual perspective. Join me, Sheila Dunbar, as we explore various aspects of life with a mindful and godly approach. Tune in for engaging discussions on all things meaningful and transformative. Welcome back to Sheila's Take. And today, my guest, Asara Tsehai, is the vibrant founder of the Juicy to 100 Nation and a passionate advocate for redefining aging. With a background in wellness and empowering women 50 plus, Asara guides individuals on a journey of self-discovery, self-care, and self-love. Through her coaching programs and workshops, she helps women turn aging fears into opportunities for growth and joy. Known for her wisdom, humor, and sassy charm, Asara's podcast appearances are not only informative, but deeply inspiring, leaving listeners energized and empowered. Welcome, Asara. How are you?
I am deliciously well.
Really? Can I use that? I'm going to start using that from now.
Absolutely.
I am deliciously well. I love that.
Yeah, and people stop because they're we used to say, I'm well, I'm good, I'm blessed. And you say, like, oh,
I've never heard that's a good thing to say. You don't mind me taking that, do you?
absolutely
I'm gonna
not.
take it,
Absolutely.
okay. So I loved what you were about, and I told you how I'm getting. I don't want to say like I don't want to because I'm married, so I don't want to say I'm getting my groove back, but I'm getting my groove back. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm fit. I can do so many more things. Pillless, meaning I'm not taking all this medicine. So I can relate to you. I wanted to bring you onto my podcast because I'm like, I gotta have Asara on here. She has to share her message because look at her, she's beautiful. People who are listening on the podcast, you have to see the video because she's beautiful. So you definitely have to watch it. But I wanted to ask you because you started the Juicy to 100 Nation. What inspired you to create that, and what is it? And how did you embark on a mission to redefine aging for women 50 plus? I know that's a lot, so maybe let me
Bring
do
it
the
up a
first
little
question.
bit,
Let
yes.
me do the first question. What inspired you to create Juicy to 100 Nation, and what is it exactly?
So, like a lot of my work, Sheila, um is through spiritual downloads.
Mm.
And so it came through me as this is one of my assignments to do. I just didn't know what the name was going to be, and I've been known for saying for the last 20 years that I plan to be fine, fit, and fabulous at 100 plus years young, and so can you. So I thought it's going to be the fine, fit, and fabulous nation, right? And my business coach was like, no, it's overused now. Back in the day when you first started it, yes, but not now. You need something else. I'm like, oh, what? But the nation, I knew that it was going to be that, just didn't know the name, but the thought for it was, what is my assignment? And then how it got to about aging was this is a result, Sheila, of a 40 plus year experiment.
Mm.
I started this in my early 20s when I was traveling to Europe and I was meeting these fabulous women in Paris, and they were in their 50s. So that's old. I'm 21, 22, they
Yeah.
50, something like, oh, that's old, right?
Mhm.
And they were traveling throughout Europe and different places, had been to the motherland, and they were traveling alone. They weren't on a tour. They were fit. They were enjoying their lives. They had joy. Like,
Let me
how
get some of
yeah,
that.
how do I get to that when I didn't get in my 50s? And I met so many of them, and I'm a scientist at heart. So
Mhm.
I sit them down, So, I already have my questions all in the back of my head. So I don't need to have a piece of paper. And I just one by one conversation. And people tell me their life story
Yeah.
anyway. So I use it to my advantage. And then out of that, from what understanding I had from what they shared from life
Mhm.
experiences, I mapped out, okay, if you do these certain things, whether if you move your body, if you pay attention to what you put in your body,
Mhm.
if you are kind with your words and you keep your heart clean, not cluttered, you do work that you enjoy,
Mhm.
that you have a hobby or something that you do that the only reason you do it is for joy. Mine's is dancing. So I've been dancing. The dance has changed over the years, but my one thing doesn't matter what's happening in my life. I get on that dance floor, my
Yeah.
happy spot, right? So I was like, then we should be able to get Sheila 100+ good years well lived,
Yeah.
because there are people who really say that those 700 and 800 years were earth years. They weren't, make believe mystical years. So I said, well, just say that was true. They were living 700 and 800 years. We should be able to get it. And then, we've heard of people living to be 100 and
Yeah.
plus. So
Yeah.
now with this newfound information, that should be easy. 100 plus, here I come, and I'm
Mhm.
taking people with me.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, my mom lived to be 99. Yes.
Wow.
And she went home the good old way. She closed her eyes and went to sleep.
See? That's how I declare. That's what I say. I said, I am going to
Yeah.
transition in my sleep. That's what I'm going to do. I've already
Mhm.
declared it.
That's the best way, nice and peaceful.
Yes.
Um, how do you help women embrace like self-discovery, self-care, self-love? Because you have coaching programs and your workshops. How do you help them embrace that? We have a lot of women out here who are not very, don't have very low self-esteem.
Yeah, so if they find their way to me, and they enroll with me, because there has to be something yearning within them for them to even show up,
Mhm.
right? Because you can give someone something very valuable, but if they're not ready or open to it, it's not going to be of use to them, right? So, so,
Right.
so they have enough of something within them for them to at least come and show up, right? If they do that, I start with their mindset,
Yeah.
because the first, like we're halfway through the 90-day whole body wellness reset, which is part two of the Juicy to 100 Nation. This is for women who want more personalized attention and actually want to go through my methodology that I use for healing for 90 days. And so for the first 6 weeks, this 12-week program, I do nothing but mindset,
Mhm.
because I realized that the discomfort, that dis-ease that shows up in our body first showed up in our hearts and
Mhm.
in our minds. And then it came out through our bodies. It's manifesting how we're feeling and how we're thinking. So we have to address the healing process. Not, I mean, there's some basic things I did, of course, drink water, that kind of thing. But basically, we're just now getting into nutrition at week number 7, and they've already, you can see their faces where they're already looking brighter, they're
Yeah.
releasing inches, they have more joy, and we haven't touched any nutrition, all on mindset. So that we got
Yeah.
so it's rewiring of our brain. And when you start to hear these concepts. And then I give you tools as resources for you to use so that the women create morning routines for themselves that help them reprogram their mind and be intentional about how they start today. And mainly, Sheila, give them permission to make themselves a priority, recognizing that I mean, I've had women be on the course, and our sessions are 2 hours, right?
Mhm.
And I remember a woman, and it happened more than once, an hour in, they were like, oh my goodness. I feel so guilty right now. I feel like I'm not supposed to be on this
Yeah.
call for this long, focused on my wellness. I need to be doing something else,
Something.
doing something for someone else, but not all this
Yeah.
attention on me.
Yeah.
And when we get to see that and this is the season. Ideally, speaking, I had children late, but still, my children are gone, empty nest. Woo,
Mhm.
hallelujah. So at this age, in my 60, I'm proudly 65 years young.
Yes.
That that this is the season now that I I am to be shifting in how I do my life. I'm
Mhm.
adjusting my pace. I'm adjusting my mindset. I'm adjusting my wellness. What it takes for me to stay well now. I wasn't doing all that I'm doing now that I was doing 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's like, "Ooh, okay. I thank you. I look beautiful, but this takes investment of time,
Yeah.
willingness, finances, to make this happen, but I know that I want to feel good in
Yeah.
my body every day.
Amen. That's
And
right.
so I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And it's like, if I don't invest in me, then what did I live for going to invest in?
Exactly. And you're right, because we do not take the time as women, because we have these lives. We have children, we have husbands, we have people who depend on us. But
Right,
if we can't depend on ourselves, if we can't take care of ourselves, how can we take care of anyone else, you know? And we
right,
do.
right.
But I used to feel that same way, but now it's like, you know what? Nope. I need this time for myself. I need this
Mhm.
time for myself. I need whether it's going to the gym or at the end of the day where I'm unwinding and I'm in my room with my headphones on, listening to my gospel music.
Yes,
That's my time, you know.
yes,
And
yes.
you need to have that mindset. And once that
Right.
mindset you change that mindset. Everything else, I believe, everything else falls into place.
And you know what's missing in the world of wellness, particularly in the West?
What?
One of the most significant pieces to what I offer and how I offer. And it's also the one piece that often people try to run away from. But, oh, that's not what I do. I'm private. And that is doing the work in community, because indigenous people did not, we did everything in community. When you went to go see the medicine man in your village, you didn't, if you were the one with the illness, everyone who lived in your home went with you, because if it's impacting one, it's impacting
Everyone.
everyone.
That's
So
right.
that the healing has to be for everyone. And so, in the West, everything is isolated and
Mhm.
individualized
Yeah.
and under the guise of being private. And therefore people are having health conditions based on extreme loneliness
Mhm.
and isolation, and then try to use the younger generation, attempting to use the social media as a way to connect, but that is
Yeah.
artificial and not sustaining.
Mhm.
And the community, it's the nation of women, it's the sisterhood of women. I provide a sacred space where women feel safe enough to share the most inner things that sometimes they have never shared with
Yeah.
anybody else, but it has been they've been harboring it in their heart. They didn't even know they were harboring it
Wow,
until the
wow.
space showed up and 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 so that is the piece. And when you're held by other women and you have the sacred space,
Mhm.
and and particularly Black women, when we come together in that sisterhood,
We're
and we
powerful.
just
Yeah. We should,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
We
So
lift each
that's
other up.
that piece.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so I have so many women go, yeah, but you sure we can't just do it, you and no, we can't just do it, you and I.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
because
and they yeah.
Because sometimes it's also good to hear others and know that you're not the only one dealing with whatever you're dealing with, that there are other
Yes.
people that are in the same, I'm not going to say situation, but they
Relatable.
understand that it's relatable.
Yes.
And that's very important because once you realize that, you even open up more, it's more
Yes.
of
Yes.
a trusting situation. And that's beautiful. Um, what are some practical tips like you can recommend for women seeking to promote healthy aging and vibrant living? Because I know I have your ebook.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I
And I
know.
told you the story about the wheatgrass. When I went to my juice place to get some wheatgrass, and they're like, "What? You don't have wheatgrass." But what are some of the things that you can, because this is
Okay.
people
Practical things.
listening, you gotta get this ebook, and we'll talk
Yes,
about
we'll
that a
put
little
that
later.
for you. Yeah, so they can
But
get that. Absolutely.
but
So
definitely.
the first piece, the one mindset is, you know, we live in a society where women are given the message of fear around aging.
Mhm. Yeah.
And women are doing all kinds of things that are not even healthy or sustaining in
Yeah.
multiple ways, because we get that message that pretty much that after childbirthing years, we don't have value, our lives don't matter, and we don't have stories to tell that people
Mhm.
would be interested in.
Yeah.
If you look at television, we're someone's wife, maybe someone's mother, someone's grandmother, but the story is really about our lives because we don't live up, according to them, interesting enough lives, right? And I dare to differ with that. So so the message is that I call this the second half. I don't know, it's the third half or whatever. It's some to say the second half can actually be even more enjoyable than the first half,
Yeah.
because you can what I'm up to is having women marry their wellness of their youth
Mhm.
with the wisdom of a life well lived.
Ooh. Ooh. Yes.
Okay? That
Yes.
is the ultimate partnership. That. And where we often fall short is with the wellness.
Mhm.
And we get consumed with the discomfort, not having the energy to do this, hormone imbalance, headaches. So
Yeah.
so then it doesn't make that second half all that enjoyable. Right? So if we can get that piece right, the
Mhm.
wisdom will come out of us that way. So that's the first practical piece, is really that mindset that's saying, I want women to change their mindset around what aging could be, how you live it, how you feel it, and how you
Mhm.
experience it,
Yeah.
right? That it can be like him having a ball, Sheila.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I I I see it.
Yeah. And so then other practical things, real, and sometimes we want to make things complicated.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
one, I say, this is another piece, but not because it's a plug, but because it's real on that same piece. So many people, so there is a culture of, there is a health culture that's out there, but it's not a health culture. The dominant culture is not about promoting wellness, right? It's downhill decline. That's why they're preaching after 30, after 40, after 50, you're on
Mhm.
the decline. There's no up. It's just going down,
Yeah.
right?
Keep going
So,
down.
right. And so if you try to do this on your own, and attempt to sustain it, you're not going to be successful. You can't live in a dominant culture that feeds you junk in your mind, feeds you fear with the news, and then feeds you cheap food with hormone, like all of
Yeah.
those things. And then when you turn 50, hormones start changing. So then you start with body starts responding differently to the
Yes.
hormonal things that are in our food and the meat. So then eating organic, if you're going to eat meat, becomes more important because that's a whole, the menopausal symptoms can really explode depending on how well you took care of yourself up until that point. So, but I say that to say is that you want to be in community with people who have wellness as a culture.
Yeah.
Because if not, how many programs have people been on? They do it for a year, they do it for 6 months. Afterwards, within what, 2 or 3 months, they never even been a part of the program because they don't have anything that will continue to grow within it. So don't try to do. So even before I had the nation, even in my personal life, I raised my children in community. My 2 sons had 3 mothers. I got on the phone one day when they had the intercom thing with the phones, and I was leaving positive messages for the community about wellness. So I made a community announcement. I have children around this age. If there are other mothers who are like-minded, who want to come together and raise our children together and support each other in this journey called motherhood and parenthood, let's get together. 2 people showed up, and the 3 of us raised our children.
Wow.
My children had 3 mothers. So even in that, I had community. And the other community that I created for myself individually, I say, every woman, it would serve her well to create a sacred council of women.
Yes.
And these are women that she chooses. They don't even need to know that they're on the council. You know they're on the council,
Right.
right? You know that one, they're going to tell you the truth. They're not going to sugarcoat it, but they're also not going to stab you and come for your heart either, right? They're going to have a way to approach you, even if it's a hard message to hear. They're going, and you know that they're doing it out of love, and they're going to do it in a way that doesn't leave you wounded, right? So you create that council. So I had that council. That was before the nation. So I just say is community is how indigenous cultures have survived so long because of the community connection,
Yes.
right? So other than that, water, right? Drink, it's simple. People want complicated things, but it's a certain kind of water. What is the water kept in? Is it in a plastic? Is it BPA free? Is it what's it called? Is it osmosis, reverse osmosis? Is it live water, mineral water, spring water? Oh God, purified water. Yes. So you got to go through all of that.
Yeah.
But I think I talk about it in the ebook. But once you get the clean water down, then you want to begin to drink that, just the water, half your body weight in ounces. And some people be like, wow, if you weigh 200 pounds, they're like, that's 100 ounces of water. That's a lot of water. But if people never think like, wow, that's a lot of food to eat. Yes, there you go.
3 cups of these a day.
Yes, there you go. And then it helps all the other things.
Yeah.
You don't snack, you don't eat as much, your skin is clear, your inner systems work so much better, like energy increases. Like I say in my school of thought that with that one act of drinking half your body weight in ounces daily, you could improve your health up to 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see. The second thing I would say, and it's still water related, would be vegetable juice. We sleep on that. Real vegetable juice. So I have a juicer, and I also use my juice, bar as my pharmacy, right? So, so I know if I go to the juice bar, like I went there yesterday, and I got celery, parsley, and kale.
Mm-hmm.
That was my vegetable juice. Oh, and ginger, light ginger.
Okay.
That was what I had, right? So I have that at least 3. I have a vegetable drink similar to that. Fresh pressed, they juice it right there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to drink it within 20 minutes of juicing it. Otherwise, a large amount of the nutrients are evaporated and
Mm-hmm.
disappears. So you can't like juice it like a pound, like a quart of it and then save it unless it's
Right.
impact. And that's a whole other thing.
Mhm.
So that, and then the third thing I would say that people don't like to do because they think it's too much thinking, but it is essential, and that is proper food combining. People, that's a science that we have to learn. Proper food combining will make it. It's like it impacts your digestion, which
Mhm.
is also part of your elimination. It impacts your skin. It impacts your energy. It impact your weight. It can impact your breath. Um, it can impact your hair. For example, did you know that eating fruit on top of food will cause your hair to gray? Like, if you
I
just
never knew
eat
that.
that for years and years and years, you will have gray hair along with eating lots of meat. Those are eating fruit on top of food, which is poor food combining, and then, a heavy meat diet.
Because
Those
the funny thing is because a lot of times with my lunch, I'll have a fruit with the lunch.
Yes, I know.
I and I'm like, I just I'm getting my fruit in, so I'm like,
I
okay,
know,
let
I
me have the
know.
fruit. I have something with the lunch, and if I don't have this like salad or whatever, then I'll have a piece of fruit with it. That's very
Mhm.
interesting.
Mhm. It is a lost science. Very few people are teaching the science of proper food combining, but it is so essential for so much. For our acid and alkaline your bloodstream is. It's just like, and it does take a mindset because you're not used to thinking. But I think like that all the time. So it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
But it is a training. So I would say that. So those would be my three or
But
four practical tips.
let me ask you a question, and I don't want to give too much away because I want people to go to your website and download the ebook. But one of the things you have in the ebook, and I'm like, okay, I did hear this before, actually from my trainer. He's like, oh, you shouldn't do this. You should at least wait 4 to 5 hours. But you have here, have liquids until noon.
Yes.
And it's like, only have liquids or fresh fruit until noon.
Right.
And um, you can make smoothies out of them. But
Yes.
why is that?
So the body goes through cycles within the 24 hours. And from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. is the cycle of elimination.
Hmm.
And it takes more energy to digest food than it takes for you to ride a bike. That's how much internal energy it
Mm.
takes. So when you interrupt the elimination cycle to digest food, and you do it day after day after day, then there's a very important cycle that's being interrupted and being redirected so that it doesn't work properly. So you don't have it. And I don't know if you remember, a lot of times you would hear people have that movement in the morning.
Hmm.
There's a reason why they have them because that's the normal time to have it
Yes.
because you're in the cycle of elimination. But so liquids is what you put in. As soon as you put in pancakes and bacon and some eggs and orange juice, now you got the fruit on top of the starch and you start doing it. And like, it's just like, then you wonder why the stomach is making all kinds of sounds and why it's extended and why you can't touch your knees.
And it's so funny because my husband, he does not, you talk about not eating before noon. He doesn't really eat anything until like 3 o'clock. That's when he starts like really eating. And I'm like, how can you like wait that long to eat? And he, he'll drink his coffee, he'll drink whatever, eat his water, whatever. But he will not physically start eating until around 2, 3 o'clock. And I'm like, I don't know if I could wait that long, but I'm an early riser. So I'm usually up by anywhere between 4:35. So you saying I should wait until 12 o'clock to,
Yes, but you're drinking, you're having
right.
room
Yes.
temperature water, you're drinking teas, you're drinking
Yes.
hot water, you're drinking smoothies. And if you use, and there's certain, and there's also, I teach the women how to make their own sea moss so that so it's liquid. So the mindset, you are having breakfast, you're having a liquid breakfast.
Yes.
It's not like you're not having breakfast. And so, because you're not going to be, I have that by around 10. And I'm not hungry until like about 12:31
Right.
because I know how, because most people are minerally deficient more so than they are vitamin deficient.
Mhm.
And what happens is the body, it's minerally deficient. It sends you the signal that it's minerally deficient, but through I'm hungry. And then you give it denatured food that have no nutrients in it. And then the body got to try to digest it. And then
Mhm.
2 hours later, it's still telling you it's hungry because you never gave it the nutrients that it was calling for in the first place. So you give it more food that that is not mineralized. And then that's why you have people snacking because the body is saying, I need nutrients.
Yeah.
And we're giving the body everything else but the
But
nutrients.
the nutrients. Wow.
Right. And
Wow.
once you start putting high quality nutrients in your food and really recognize how to do that, you're going to be surprised on how little food you need. And then you like, okay, I am not hungry. I am eating this simply because strictly out of desire.
Right, right. I mean, because there's a lot of times when I'm drinking my water and I've had my shakes or I have my
Yes.
tea and I'm like, I'm not hungry. Where it's to the point where sometimes I have to force myself to eat because I work out, I lift weights, so I have some type of protein, but it's like I'm forcing myself to eat at times.
See, I say if you're not hungry, I just came out of a spell of having no appetite for like 3 weeks. I was
Wow.
like, what the heck? Like, no. And so my thing, if I have no, I'm not going to force my body
Yeah.
to eat.
Hmm.
And because my body is going to tell. And then now, oh my, it's like the appetite for no apparent reason. Now I'm in the eating phase. Like, what? So I say if the body has infinite intelligence and it will tell you, it will, I mean, we direct it a lot, but it will still, if your body's saying it's not hungry, then don't feed it.
Don't
That's my,
feed
because
it.
it's going to tell you when
Yeah.
it is.
That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. And usually when it's like that, like if I'm not hungry, I'm just gonna make me like a nice little shake or something.
Mhm.
And when I go to bed, I'm just as full and I
Yep.
sleep as peaceful. Because that's the one thing I'm not gonna do. If I'm especially during dinner, if I'm not hungry, then I'm like, you know what? I'm not hungry, but I'm gonna make a shake because I don't want to get woken up at the middle of the night with that stomach growling. So, but definitely, I Sarah, I could talk to you like
Mm.
there's like so many things I want to ask you, and I know the time is getting late. But um, one of the things, what are you grateful for?
Mm. Oh, girl, I am grateful to be 65, have
Come
a
on,
body I love,
come on, come on,
on no medication,
come on,
got energy of the yang yang,
come on.
ready to go to Chicago to go dancing for 8 days,
Woo!
doing
Come on,
Chicago
girl.
stepping. I'm grateful that I got married at 62 to the love of my life.
Oh yeah.
I am grateful that I have two mature sons that are quality men I have given to. the universe of some beautiful Black women out there.
Ooh, come on. Come on, my
And,
sister. Talk it.
and
Say it.
yeah, and I'm grateful to be joyous. I'm grateful to
Yeah.
be a happy, joyful, sweet Black woman.
Yes.
That's what I'm grateful for.
And I'm gonna say it again. Those who are listening audio, you have to see the video because she is joyful. She has not stopped smiling and laughing and just since before we started this podcast.
Come on into the nation, y'all, and get some of this joy. I want it is I that's what I think I see. Like, why do I do this work? I think you may have asked me,
Yeah.
is when I see the lives of women change.
Yeah.
Because if you change the life of a woman, right, you change so many other lives that actually she nourishes.
Yes.
So nourishing her, the ripple effect is strong and goes far out. So when I see women change like a light and they're like, yeah, I got boundaries. Yeah, I can have my voice. Yeah, I got some needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
some desires. I can still do. Oh, I started people who know me think I started a virtual, what is it? I guess a virtual business during COVID. And I am the most like I think I only had a cell phone for 6 years. Like I,
Really?
I started a online business. Yes, at 62, right? During COVID. And I was Miss Anti, but I'm an entrepreneur. And it was like, okay, because I also do skincare for the mature woman to address the skin and our hormones and the things that we
Yeah.
may have and experience. And so I couldn't go to women's conferences and things like that anymore. And so it was a whole but I'm saying that to say that it's not too late. But I also want you to know that I've adjusted my pace. If
Yeah.
I can say something, that's the thing that we mess up. It's like I am not 65 doing it like I was 40.
Yeah.
I'm not. So
Yeah.
this beautiful, glowing, happy, joyous because I get enough sleep, even though I want you to know my personal challenge with menopause has been insomnia for 7 years.
Mm.
For 7 years, severe insomnia. Okay. And then at one point recently, like November, I was like, well, maybe I gotta really maybe I need to stop working or something because
Yeah.
if I didn't sleep for 2 or 3 days, then a day I couldn't work. And then I'm like a miracle. I got sleep like 3 consecutive days. That does not happen. And I woke up with all this energy. I was like, "What you girl? You just need to find a solution to this insomnia."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
right then and there, I said, I am going to conquer this insomnia. 5 months later from making that declaration, guess who's been sleeping for 3 months? 3 months
All
consecutively.
right. All right. It's all right because I could tell that at 65 years old, you got a lot of energy. You are happy. You have joy. I have a good friend. Her name is Kendall Anise, and she has a few podcasts. Um, and she's a life coach, and she calls herself the remix coach. And she has a term that she says that you're never too old it's never too late to remix your life, right? And I love that saying because it isn't just because you hit that 40 or you hit that 50 or you hit that 60 doesn't mean that you're over. Your life is to me, it's just different levels and you're just getting better and better and better and better and wiser and wiser. And it's how you choose to live your life that
Yes.
that that makes you either energetic person at 65 that you are, or the person who's just like, okay, well, I'm 65. I'm not gonna. I can't do that. So it's never too late. It's never too late. And I love I love your energy. I love your spirit, and I thank you so much for coming on my podcast. Any final thoughts?
Oh, because, Juicy to 100. I never shared why I named it Juicy to
Ah,
100.
yes.
And because it's interesting, because some women, people just, they get uncomfortable. Like, they, what is that? Women have trouble saying I'm juicy. I mean, all kinds of things come up. So Juicy to 100. So juicy represents that there's a flow. There's a flow in your life. What's juicy also, there's life giving and nourishing. So when you think of juicy, you think of fruits, you think of something that is going to be healthy for
Mhm.
you and vibrant. And then to 100 is that scientists have discovered that the average person is in the West is cutting their life by 30 years.
Mm.
So this 30 years that people are transitioning earlier than
Early.
necessary.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So I'm thinking now, what about we extended that 30 years, but we extended from wellness? Because there are people, they're not trying to live extra years because I'm suffering. Like, I just want to get out of myself. But you're not suffering.
Yeah.
Because that's the mindset shift that we got to realize you
Yeah.
don't got to suffer, right? Even,
Yeah.
going through the different things that we go through with hormone changes, we bring our collective resources and antidotes to the conversation. You find out all kinds of antidotes that you can, so we don't have to suffer, right?
Mhm. That's
But
right.
but the juicy to 100 is that I want to have women know that they can pick up those 30 years, that they can customize and design the second half of their
Mhm.
lives
Come
and
on.
make sure that they're included in their life where they marry both the youth of their wellness with the wisdom of a life well.
Come on. Come on.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. Oh,
Yes. Please, my listeners, please go to Sarah Sahai's uh, website. What's your website? Let's get your website.
So I'm gonna give you the link for that. They can also get it from my Facebook page. Asara
Okay.
Tsehai is on there. The founder of the Juicy to 100 Nation. Instagram is on there too. Asara Tsehai. And then I'm gonna give you the link that they can also get it directly. Yeah.
Okay. And the name of the ebook is Keep Them Guessing Your Age, a guide to slow down and reverse the signs of early aging and be juicy to 100. Yes. So definitely, she has good
So
things.
how do you like that title? Because I kind of struggle with the title with it. So keep them get. I was like, I'm not an anti-ager. Like I'm like, hey, let's age, but we can define and
That's
shape
right.
and design how we age.
That's right. That's right. And everyone, just to know, it's juicy to TO 100, not TWO 100. It's juicy to 100. So definitely check out Asara. And if you want to be part of her Juicy to 100 Nation, reach out to her.
Yes.
But definitely download the ebook because she has some really good stuff in here. Like I said, I'm gonna try and find that wheatgrass now because I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to be on my podcast and blessing my listeners. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure and so much fun. I love having these discussions. I love it. It's like sitting at the kitchen table talking with your sister friend and
Listen,
yeah.
anytime you want to come back, anytime. Because then, listen, like I said, I could be talking to you for hours. I'm like, I got to cut this because I'd be sitting here talking for hours.
Great. I have the Juicy to 100 Nation. I want to invite you to be a guest so you can see if you like it, right? This is a place for you. So I want to invite you. I think she's going to send me some link that I can send you but I'll send it to you and you can always do It gives you a complimentary consult with me
Mm-hmm.
so we can talk about like what your health goals are. So I know that. And if you set that up, and by the time you set that up, if you're interested, we can go ahead because this is only beginning. If you like what you hear, you need to come on into the nation and bring your
Yes.
friends.
Until next time, remember to embrace the journey, build lasting connections, and step boldly into all that life has in store for you. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Blessings to you.